Does the NBA really care about the health of its players, or is it more interested in keeping the league competitive at any cost? The requirement of a minimum of 65 games for individual awards has been a controversial topic since its implementation. And now, with Jaylen Brown dealing with knee pain, the rule becomes even more questionable. With only 11 games left in the regular season, Brown would need to play in at least 9 of them to be eligible for any league honors. But the main issue isn't just the number of games. It's the impact this requirement has on the decisions of players and teams. Are athletes being forced to ignore their physical limits just to meet bureaucratic criteria? The NBA defends this rule as a way to ensure that individual awards go to players who have truly participated in the season in a meaningful way. But does it make sense when it forces a player to put his health at risk? Brown, who has been a key piece in the Celtics' success, can't simply focus on his recovery without facing external pressure. And what if he returns before the ideal time and worsens his injury? Who will be held responsible? Himself, for trying to be competitive? The coaching staff, for allowing him to play without being 100%? Or the NBA itself, for creating a rule that may encourage harmful long-term decisions? Looking at recent history, this situation is not unique. Other players have faced similar dilemmas. Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, and even LeBron James have gone through seasons where they played visibly, injured to remain eligible for awards and bonuses. The NBA, which prides itself on being a modern and progressive league, is it truly taking care of its athletes, or is it just masking a structural problem? If Brown were not in the race for awards, would he have more time to recover without this pressure? Most likely. This leads us to a bigger reflection. Individual awards are important, but they should never be a decisive factor in managing an athlete's health. After all, is an MVP trophy worth more than a long and healthy career? Can Kristaps Porzingis be trusted for a long and grueling playoff campaign? That's the question haunting Boston Celtics fans. The Latvian big man has been a key piece this season, but his career is marked by a concerning history of injuries. Right now, he is being managed with regular rest periods. But will that be enough to ensure his presence when the games really matter? The NBA has seen this movie before. An extremely talented player who, under ideal conditions, could be a game changer, but in practice is rarely available when it counts the most. The Celtics are going all in on their championship pursuit, and in a 7-game series against a beatable team like the Milwaukee Bucks or Denver Nuggets, Porzingis' absence could be the difference between winning a title and a frustrating elimination. Boston made a bold bet by bringing in Porzingis. When healthy, he is a nightmare for opponents. A 7.3 center who can shoot threes, protect the rim, and create space for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. On paper, he seems like the perfect piece to elevate the team to another level. But basketball isn't played on paper. The reality is that Porzingis struggles to stay healthy over a full season, and his reliability in crucial moments remains a huge question mark. Looking at his track record, the doubts are justified. Since entering the NBA, he has never played more than 72 games in a single season. In New York, his prime was cut short by a devastating knee injury. In Dallas, his partnership with Luka Doncic never took off, partly because Porzingis couldn't stay on the court. Now, in Boston, he has already missed several games during the regular season, and that's in a much less demanding period than the playoffs. The big question is, should the Celtics have invested in a less talented but more physically reliable player? Many argue that a more durable center, even if less spectacular, could provide continuous availability and defensive stability throughout the campaign. After all, what is the value of a player who can be dominant but might not be available when the team needs him most? In the playoffs, the intensity rises to another level. Physical games, constant tactical adjustments, and immense pressure come with the territory. Can Porzingis handle this grind without breaking down? The answer remains uncertain. If he misses key games, the Celtics will be forced to rely more on Al Horford, a 38-year-old veteran, and Luke Cornett, whose limitations are evident. This scenario could be a nightmare for Boston, especially against teams that excel at attacking the paint. And what about the psychological impact? The mere doubt surrounding Porzingis' availability is already a problem. A championship roster needs stability, and uncertainty about a key player's presence can destabilize a team in critical moments. If Boston reaches the NBA Finals and has to adjust its rotation because Porzingis can't play, wouldn't that be a major planning mistake? Is Jrue Holiday rushing his return? It could cost the Celtics in the playoffs. The regular season matters, but the playoffs are what truly define a championship team. And for the Boston Celtics, having Jrue Holiday healthy in the postseason could be the difference between a historic back-to-back title run and an early elimination. With that in mind, is rushing the point guard's return after a shoulder injury the right decision? The NBA has seen countless cases of players coming back too soon and paying a steep price. Shoulder injuries in particular are tricky. They might seem healed, but any sudden movement or unexpected collision could make things worse. In Holiday's case, the concern is even greater because his aggressive defense relies on constant physical contact and intense arm movements. Boston must be careful not to jeopardize what truly matters: the championship. Does forcing Holiday back quickly make sense? Or could this urgency come at a high cost when it matters most? Are the Celtics playing the long game, or are they just focused on securing a higher seed? Holiday is a crucial defensive anchor, and his impact goes far beyond the stat sheet. His presence on the court completely changes how opponents attack, pressuring ball handlers, forcing turnovers, and locking down the perimeter. But all of that depends on one critical factor: he needs to be at 100%. If Holiday returns before he's fully ready, will his defense still be as relentless? Or will we see a more cautious player, avoiding contact to protect his shoulder and prevent a setback? The problem with rushing a recovery is that the injury can linger, permanently limiting a player's ability to play at full intensity. There are plenty of examples of this happening. Kawhi Leonard in 2017 tried to return too soon from an injury and was never the same physically. Markelle Fultz dealt with shoulder problems that completely altered his shooting mechanics. Even Paul George recently needed an extended period to regain his strength and confidence after similar issues. If Boston forces Holiday to play now, even with discomfort, they are taking a massive gamble. And if he aggravates the injury, who steps up defensively in his absence? Derek White and Peyton Pritchard are solid players, but neither brings the defensive impact that Holiday does. The answer seems obvious: don't rush him. If Holiday is feeling any discomfort, it's wiser to hold him out now to ensure he's fully ready for the playoffs. The Celtics already have the best record in the East and can afford to manage minutes without jeopardizing home court advantage. Rushing him back could be an irreversible mistake. The worst-case scenario for Boston isn't losing a few games now. It's seeing Holiday aggravate the injury and either miss the postseason or play at a limited capacity. Without him, their defense takes a serious hit. Their perimeter pressure weakens, and they become more vulnerable against elite teams like Milwaukee, Denver, or even Miami, a team that thrives on exposing defensive weaknesses. What's the better option? Having Holiday back at 80% now and risking a worse injury, or ensuring he's at 100% when it really matters? The answer seems clear, but the final decision lies with the coaching staff and Holiday himself. Reality might be knocking on the door faster than we expected. Al Horford, a key piece for the Boston Celtics in recent years, has already missed consecutive games due to a toe injury. At 38 years old, any physical issue isn't just a temporary setback. It could be a sign that his body is reaching its limit. Are we witnessing the final moments of Horford as a truly impactful player? The biggest question the Celtics need to address isn't just about this season, but the future of their rotation. Horford still has the tactical intelligence and versatility to contribute, but will that be enough when the playoffs arrive? If he keeps missing games and showing physical struggles, should Joe Mazzulla start drastically reducing his minutes? And if that happens, who steps up to fill such a crucial role in the rotation? We can't ignore the fact that the franchise made a bold decision by keeping Horford as an essential part of the roster. But was it a mistake? While rival teams are investing in youth and physical endurance to maintain intensity throughout the season, the Celtics are still relying on a veteran whose body may not withstand the grind until June. This dependence could come at a steep price, especially in an increasingly demanding Eastern Conference. Another factor to consider is the impact of this situation on the roster. If Mazzulla starts cutting Horford's minutes, does that open the door for younger players? Or did the team simply fail to prepare for this transition? The fact that there isn't a clear replacement in the rotation exposes a flaw in the Celtics' planning. At a time when the franchise is chasing back-to-back championships, it's a massive risk to count on Horford maintaining a high level when his body is already showing signs of wear and tear. And more importantly, how does this situation affect Horford himself? He's one of the most respected players in the locker room, a leader trusted by his teammates. But does that alone justify keeping him on the court if his performance starts to decline? The challenge for Mazzulla and the coaching staff will be to find a balance between honoring his legacy and making the best decisions for the team's championship aspirations. The truth is that no matter how much Horford still flashes his talent, time is working against him, and the Celtics need to decide quickly whether they'll keep betting on the veteran or if it's time to start planning for the team's next phase without him. The Boston Celtics might be playing with fire. Sam Hauser, an important piece in the rotation, played 39 minutes in the last game, one of his highest totals of the season, and shortly after, he was listed as questionable due to back soreness. Coincidence or a warning sign that the coaching staff is ignoring? The issue goes beyond Hauser. Are the Celtics pushing their secondary players too hard and risking paying a steep price in the final stretch of the season? Boston's rotation has always revolved around its starters, but the physical toll on role players cannot be overlooked. If Hauser, a player who relies heavily on his shooting mechanics and off-ball movement, starts feeling the effects of overuse, his performance could drop at a crucial moment. And he's not the only one. Players like Xavier Tillman, recently integrated into the team, are also being pushed to their limits. Is the team truly managing the roster in the best possible way, or are they flirting with the risk of injuries at the worst possible time? Historically, the Celtics have a troubling track record of physical issues derailing promising seasons. Just look at recent years. Robert Williams missed the 2022 playoffs. Marcus Smart played through injuries in critical moments, and even Jason Tatum dealt with physical setbacks that affected his performance in the 2023 finals. With this history, does it make sense to repeat the same mistake now? As much as Boston has one of the best rosters in the NBA, bench depth is not a luxury, it's a necessity. If the team keeps overworking secondary players like Hauser and Tillman, they risk entering the playoffs with a depleted roster. Is the Celtics' minute management strategy being handled wisely, or are they pushing the limits and hoping nothing goes wrong? The biggest mistake a title-contending team can make is neglecting the physical toll of the season. The Celtics already have a core of stars playing heavy minutes. Tatum and Brown frequently exceed 35 minutes per game. If that wear and tear also extends to the bench players, the team could find itself in a situation where fatigue and injuries erase any tacticals advantage. Mazzulla needs to find the right balance. The Boston Celtics have enough talent to distribute minutes more effectively and prevent unnecessary exhaustion. If they keep overusing players like Hauser, they might run out of reliable options when it matters most. And at the end of the day, what's the point of having one of the best regular season records if the team is exhausted when the playoffs arrive?